Back on the X52 podcast. It is Thursday night, May 8th. My name is Jake Louque, and I'm joined by 2 out of 3 L's, Arditti. I feel like we might be hitting a point of critical mass here, where that might have to turn into 3 out of 3 L's.
Yeah, I didn't even realize that it should be 3 out of 3. Yeah, just another meh, whatever, get it over with series and try and I don't even know what you try and do now. Again, I know we were talking, you didn't watch much, and I said you didn't miss much other than at least they were hitting today. They just didn't hit with guys in run in scoring position. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It's all bad. It sucks. This sucks so bad. This is miserable.
Some interesting tinkering, moving our guy Little Jackie up to the 2 spot there, I believe it was. Like I told you privately, had a big meeting day with work. I couldn't really watch any of this one at all, but yeah, man, you're right. I mean, the hits are there. I'm going through the lineup right now. The first 6 names all had at least 1 hit, or they all had 1 hit, I should say. Kobe Mayo gets himself a hit. That's how you know you're in trouble if you're an opposing team.
He smoked that ball too. It was 109 off the bat, right back through the box. So I like seeing that. It was nice.
Emmanuel Rivera with 3 hits. Maverick Handley collecting his first career MLB hit. And yeah, Orioles lose 5-2. It sounds like, and we're going to get into the 17 strikeouts, I believe it was the other night. It seems like you have to try to like do some of the shit that they're doing. Like you have to go out of your way to just trip over your own feet and like just completely just crap the bed like this and get swept to a Twins team who I think is solid, but not necessarily anything special. They're 18-20 right now. Yeah, man, this is tough. I don't know what the fix is. I don't think there is a quick fix. Mike Elias did a bit of a media tour earlier this week, which we can get into some of those comments. But yeah, I think we've been kind of saying it and hinting at it, but I think it's pretty much official that we're just watching a bad baseball team.
Yeah, this is a bad baseball team. They're playing just absolutely awful baseball right now. And again, you know, I heard Andy Koska and a couple of the guys ask Hyde after the game, like, you know, what do you guys, the offense, it's not hitting. And then when they are hitting, they're not hitting with runners in scoring position. And Hyde kind of just said, you know, it seems like every single person is in a slump and everyone is pressing and everyone is putting pressure on themselves. And that's what it looks like. I mean, the at-bats, there was a Heston Kjerstad at bat today and he struck out on a pitch up like 6 inches above the zone. He had 2 guys on base. You elevate a ball and drive it. You're driving in a run. There it is. What are we doing? I mean, if you can't drive a ball, if you can't at least have a good at bat and you know, drive a guy in there, sacrifice fly, I don't know if you deserve major league at bats here. And again, Heston said something like that too. And we're all trying and we're all putting too much pressure on themselves. It's been like that since last July, you know, and we've talked about it too. It's not like this is it's only May. It's been 6 weeks of this. No, it's been going back to the, you know, the All-Star break. So, you know, I think they were, what was it? 2 for 13 with runners in scoring position. They left 9 guys on. I sent you the text. And again, they had runners on. They were able to get guys on. But when they got him on, they couldn't score. Here we go. This is Noah Treister, and this was at 2:43. So in the afternoon, I'm sure they had more after this. Orioles had second and third, 1 out in the second. Second and third, 1 out in the third. First and second, nobody out in the fourth. Second and third, nobody out in the fifth. Man on second, nobody out in the sixth. And again, I think they had some more after that. Didn't score any runs from that. Emmanuel Rivera did get thrown out at home. I don't know what inning that was. I think that was the 6th. He was thrown out at home. They showed a replay. He was safe. He was very clearly safe. And they reviewed it. MLB said he was out. Shocker. And again, this is, people may think I'm just, you know, home cooking or whatever. I think the Orioles get screwed more on reviews and bad calls more than any other team. That's what it seems like. But I don't know. That was just a bad, ugly series of baseball. And that's what we've watched for a majority of the last, I don't know, it's like 100 games now. Again, I mean, you know, you take 2 out of 3 from the Yankees. You win the first game that Friday night against the Royals, and all of a sudden you're winning 3 out of 4, and you're like, okay, playing some good baseball. We could turn this thing around. And then they've just, I don't know if they kick their feet up or what, but it's disgustingly bad baseball. It's bad. It's awful. No one firing or benching or DFA is going to fix this. Like I don't understand. Like, someone has to get fired. No, that's not going to fix anything. Tony Mansolino getting named the interim manager is not going to light a fire under the guys. Be like, yes, yeah, you're right. Now let's go. I don't know what the fix is, and I don't think there is a fix. I also, again, I don't think Hyde gets fired during the year unless they go on like a 2-20 month or something like that. Hyde's not getting fired. I don't think. Elias is definitely not getting fired. Like this, that's not the thing. The players have to play. They have to hit. That's what it comes down to. Dean pitched his ass off today, and he has nothing to show for it. So I feel bad for him. Again, Emmanuel Rivera, he gets a little shine and he gets a spot and a start and boom, all he does is produce. So, it sucks right now. It's brutal and it's going to be a long summer of Orioles baseball. And you and I have talked about it. I think many of our nights have opened up this upcoming summer, and I'll still go to games. I'll still watch, but I'm not living and dying with every game, looking at the playoff standings and how many games back they are. I got other shit to do this summer, and I will gladly spend my time doing other things and not watching a team that's, 20 games under 500 or whatever.
Yeah, it just feels like I was tweeting about this the other night. It's just like, feels like there's no sense of identity with this team. Like, what is this team supposed to be? Like, for better or for worse? Like, you gotta have some kind of philosophy. You got to have some kind of thing that's driving you all forward collectively. It just feels like 9 guys out there and maybe this is unfair. I'm not privy to what's going on behind the scenes, but it just feels like 9 guys out there just going through the motions. And it's like, man, you look back, and I reference the Buck teams a lot because those were I was born in 95. Those are kind of the first good teams I got to watch. And for better or for worse, they didn't make the playoffs every year. They certainly had their down seasons, but it's like, we got a locker room full of WWE looking motherfuckers. We're going to go mash the baseball. We're going to have shitty starting pitching, and we're going to win 85 games by the skin of our teeth. And we're going to get into the playoffs, and we're going to, make it into the, make it to the next round with the Yankees the first time around. And then we're going to go to the ALCS. And just like those teams, I mean, it felt like they were greater than the sum of their parts. This team feels like it is so much worse than the sum of its parts. This team should be so much better than it is. And that's oversimplifying things a little bit. It's easy to forget in baseball injuries, at least for me. Like, sometimes I just forget that Kowser's not out there. Sometimes I forget that Westberg hasn't been out there most of the year. I get all of those excuses. I get that O'Neill was a signing that you were expecting a lot more from. He hasn't been able to go either. I get everything that's going on with the starting pitching, but it feels like they're completely rudderless. They're just adrift at sea. And even in down years with the Orioles, like I said, when it felt like there was a sense of an identity, when it felt like they were building towards something, it was a treat to tune in and watch those teams. This feels like a fucking chore to watch this team right now. It is not enjoyable, and I don't look forward to it every night.
No, absolutely. Again, the first game of the series, I turned it off. I think Buxton had a guy on first and second in the second inning, and he hit a ball, and I turned it off before it hit the wall. I was just like, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this tonight. Last night I had Joe's softball practice and all that stuff, so I was like, I got other stuff to do. Not going to pay attention. I'm just sure, okay. I'm just not going to do it. Turning notifications off, stuff like that. And you're right. I mean, the identity of this team should have been like these guys are young, they are hungry, they were embarrassed. 2 years in a row, they got swept out of the playoffs. Scored 1 run in the playoffs last year. Sorry, these guys are embarrassed. And you know what? They are on a rampage. We, like you and Spenny talked about it. Like, oh, the golden retriever, the golden doodle, this, blah, blah, blah. Like, no, these guys are pit bulls trying to rip everything's head off. They're not. They are, again, it seems, and you were spot on there. It seems like it's just 9 individuals who are just kind of coming to work every day. And we've all been a part of that, like a group at work or something like that, where, I don't know, nobody's connecting and it's just everybody's doing their own thing. And I think you talked about it with the 1,000-yard stares and stuff like that. I mean, Gunnar strikes out today, and I mean, we're hanging head, and I don't blame them. I do the same thing when I'm watching them, but they're hanging their head and they're walking back to the dugout, and it's just, I don't know if it's like this woe is me, how do we fix this? I don't know. Again, I mean, we've talked about it over and over now, but this is the first time that a lot of these guys have had failures, team wise, individual wise. And it's like, yeah, that sucks. Guess what? You got to suck it up and get over it. Like, you know what makes it better? If you guys come together as a group and a team and just fucking win and play hard and I don't know. It's frustrating because, like you said, this team should be so much better. I mean, the amount of talent that they have, that they should have, when they're healthy, it's crazy.
And the health's part of it. Like, the health is definitely part of it, but
yes, but
it's not like you shouldn't be 13-23 right now, even with all of that. Like, it's just, it doesn't add up.
No, again, injuries are definitely something. I will 100% attest to that. I think that definitely matters. But yeah, they're not 10 games under because guys are hurt. They're 10 games under because they can't hit with runners in scoring position. They're striking out a billion trillion times. They're just not scoring. And when they score, their pitching is awful. And they're giving up 7 home runs to a team that couldn't hit a home run. They got outmatched by the Royals. The Royals could not hit home runs. It was physically impossible for them to hit home runs. And the Royals outslugged the Orioles at home at Camden Yards. Like that, what is going on? It's just crazy. And again, this is a division where the Yankees are not a very good team. They're fine. The Red Sox are fighting with each other. They're a game above 500. Like if any team in this division could just like get their head on straight and kind of focus, they would be up 6 or 7 games, like very easy. The Orioles could be that. They obviously are not, and it doesn't look like they will turn that around. But again, I talked about it, like if they were embarrassed the last 2 years after how they went out in the playoffs, what are we going to say this year when they finish 25 games under 500? We make the jokes all the time about, they're going to Cabo and they're going to be golfing the first day, October 1. Like there's going to be tee time set and golf clubs being shipped out. Like this is, and I've said it to you guys and like privately, and this is my like fun way of being like, oh, maybe we could do this. I hope that this is the UVA UMBC and like you got dog walked, you got dragged, you got waterboarded, whatever you did, by the 16 seed and you got embarrassed and slapped around and you were a national joke for a year. And then UVA came back and they reloaded and they added some pieces and they won the championship next year. Not saying that obviously it's what the Orioles are going to do, but maybe this lights a fire. And it's Elias and Sig. I get it. You don't want to strike out on a big deal and a free agent. You got to fucking strike out. Tyler Durden said it best. You got to break some eggs to make an omelet. Stuff is going to go wrong. It's life. It's jobs. It's sports. It's everything, like. It's in baseball. Baseball is okay.
By the way, we gotta let's double click on that. I mean, look at you with the movie reference. Who would have thought?
You like that one? People forget I took a movie class. Fight Club is one of the movies I watched.
Wow, that's interesting.
Clockwork Orange too. But yeah, I mean, I don't remember much of Clockwork Orange, but
yeah, I wouldn't go back to that if I were you.
No. But again, I don't know. People have said it. Hero ball at its worst. It seems like it. The strikeouts today, I think going into like the 6th inning, they had 6 strikeouts and all of them were with runners in scoring position. It just seems like there was no, you talked about it, philosophy, no plan, like going up to the plate. I'm going to try and drive the ball this way. I want to try and elevate the ball and send it that way. And that way we score a run, or I can move the guys over or something. And it's just guys swinging out of their shoes and it's like T-ball. I was watching my daughter's like T-ball game last night, and that's what it seemed like. Girls are just swinging.
You know who it seems like has the most of a plan out of any of these guys and has looked very consistent?
Probably Jackson.
The 21-year-old.
Yes. The 21-year-old who got his shit shoved down his throat last year.
Yeah, and he's got all the talent in the world. I thought he was going to have a really good season. He's living up pretty well so far to my expectations, but that is a bit of an indictment on some of these other guys. I know Gunner's not that much older than him, but it's like Gunner's had an MVP caliber season just last year. Adley, you're in your mid-20s. Like, come on, man. Like,
I'm still giving Gunner a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. He was hurt. He missed a month.
Oh, I get it. Yeah,
it's all last year, but
yes, it's all part and parcel. But it's just like even with all that said, I feel like a little bit of what I'm seeing from Gunner is just kind of hacking at stuff and getting frustrated, which there's a fun side to that when he's flipping the bat and he's walking to first base, but then there's a frustrating side to it too. And you do want to see that emotion, so that's good to see as well. But he is also another guy where you get that little bit of 1,000-yard stare. Like, I don't want to see that. I want to see you, light up like a stick of dynamite and get pissed off. So,
yeah, again, showing emotion isn't bad. I don't know. Again, it just seems like there's nothing. And the people, I mean, they wanted folks wanted the team meeting. They did that and they won that night, and then they got shit pumped the next day. And
shout out to Ron Washington.
Yeah, right. I mean, man, I don't know what the series, talking about Ron Washington. I don't know what's going to happen when they go out and see Anaheim. I don't know. I mean, I'm looking at here. Great headline by Andy Koska. The Orioles plucked defeat from the jaws of victory today. 5 straight losses. Here's another number for you. Since April 20th, your favorite holiday, the Orioles are 16 for 23 with runners in scoring position. 16 for 23. And I said it last week, or following the Royals series. It's almost like I wish they could just do ghost runners or have blinders on. Like, hide the guy at second base. Don't let them see it, because they seem to have no problem, slapping a single the other way or something like that. But man, the second they get runners on, and Hyde mentioned it today, like, we haven't gotten a big hit, and they haven't done. I've talked about it a couple times on the pod, but the last 9th inning comeback that this team had was when Verdugo and Volpe handed them that game the day before the All-Star break. That's the last time they won a game trailing or having a comeback to win in the 9th inning. That's incredible. That's 70 or 80 games. That's nuts. It's nuts. It seems, and we talk about it in the group chat, if they go down 1-0, it's shit. And, all right, well, we're not going to be able to get them back. And even last night when they went up 1, the Twins came back and tied it immediately. And it's like, yep. That's
the funny thing about that is, not to belabor that point, but they should not have won that game.
And that's the thing. They got handed that game by 2 brutal errors. And it's just here the Luis Castillo. Why is everyone and their mother, like, why is anyone freaking out? He's a AAA reliever. Like, what are we doing?
It's the name. It's but fucking trolling us with getting Luis F. Castillo. It's like fucking John, no relation Wayne from Infinite Jest. That's a reference for.
See, I was gonna say, I saw like 2 weeks ago that they had 2 Luis Castillos, and I knew that because they referred to one of them as that.
I actually did know that too, but then I saw it. I saw the tweet and I was like, Luis Castillo, there's no fucking way that's real. I saw at Orioles. I clicked into it. And what do you know? Luis F. Castillo. I was like, that fucking guy.
Luis fucking Castillo. Yeah. But again, like there were people last night who were like legitimately like, what does this help? It's like, it's a depth move. Just pretend it didn't happen. It's Dylan Carlson all over again.
Yeah, I mean, they signed the Cuban pitcher too. They got rid of Bowman. They DFA'd him to bring up Selby. Like, they're just throwing darts. Like, that's just all you can do right now.
And again, it sucks for the bullpen because they just don't have guys with options. I'm sure CNL Perez will be on his way out sometime soon. But we've had the Norfolk Shuffle, and we've laughed about it and talked about it for 10 years. There's no Norfolk Shuffle in the bullpen anymore. You don't have guys with options. That's why they DFA'd. What was that guy's name? The guy who he made like 1 appearance and then he went to the Braves. But Jabo's right. Getting a pitcher isn't going to help the offense to stop sucking. It's
not going to help them. And like, if you get a good pitcher and they have a good night, the offense is going to suck.
Today, Dean was incredible today, and you knew that the second, because I tweeted, I said, the second that Rivera got called out at home, I was like, we know what's going to happen next inning. Boom, solo home run to tie up the game, and it's like, yep, there it is. And then Cano comes in, and the what's it called? The bullpen gives it up. Soto gives it up, but Cano wasn't good tonight. But it's just if one thing is working, the other 2 pieces aren't. The bullpen and the starters aren't. But if the bullpen's working, then the starters and the offense aren't. And if the offense is working, then the pitching isn't. And it's like, I don't know. I really need Spenny to make that graphic. Like, are the Orioles facing a lefty? Yes. Or did Charlie Morton pitch? All that. But it's just everything is off right now. Everything is nothing is connected. And this just
Charlie, I mean, God bless the guy. It's tough. Even when it looks like has his stuff for a little bit, he just hangs one over the middle of the play and going all the way back to the Arizona series and probably before that. And it's just like, dude, you want to talk about 1,000-yard stares? that guy looked like he was experiencing a long night of the soul in front of the media when he was chatting with them about what had happened. I mean, like I want to say I feel bad for him, and I do in a professional sense. He seems like a good guy. He's getting $15 million.
I was going to say he's making 15 mil. I find it hard to believe, or I don't know. I can't.
It's still like, you feel for. He seems like a good dude. Like it just goes back to this was the plan. This was the plan.
That's what it comes down to is Kyle Gibson. And again, as much as we shit on Elias for Morton and all those other ones, Sagano has been great. Sagano has been as advertised, and he has been fantastic. That was a great get by him. Shout out to Adam for helping him out. Also, I wanted to go back. You were talking about the Buckeyes. I had this. Adam had told me that he was like back in 2014. He said, quote, "We had some big ass fucking hairy dudes," and it's like, yes, I think Ryan O'Hearn, I think, is a hairy dude. They don't have many other hairy dudes out there, but that's what I was going to say. And yeah, I mean, Morton again, his press conferences. I love all the beat reporters. I was talking with one guy on Friday, and he was like, people around the team at least admire Morton because of how he talks. And he'll be like, yeah, I just didn't have it. I sucked. Like, I was awful, And he says it as opposed to some other pitchers who will be like, well, my stuff was good, but I gave up 6 earned. It's like, well, it wasn't good then. And if that's what it means when you're good, then I don't know. But yeah, again, it just goes back to like, this was the plan ? And again, Elias, to people don't want to hear it, but he when he came out and spoke the other day, he kind of put his hand up and was like, yeah, that's, this was kind of my doing. And it was. And again, there's no one else to blame this on. It was a failure of an offseason. It was an absolute disservice. Just not going out and addressing the pitching. Again, whether it was, and again, Sig in the front office, they have this mindset, and I think it's more Sig than Elias. Controllable years really don't mean much if the player is not a good player. You look at a Heston Kjerstad, who doesn't look to be anything right now. You look at a Kobe Mayo right now, who is like, those are guys that they were like, well, we really want to hold on to them. Maybe we don't want to trade for Dylan Cease, or we don't want to trade for Garrett Crochet. It's like, break some eggs, make an omelet. You got to.
This is just not that sport. This is not that sport anymore. It worked with Moneyball 20 years ago to an extent. They didn't even win a championship. It doesn't work anymore. This is a sport of big swinging dicks. This is a sport of Steve Cohen. This is a sport of whoever the fuck all owns the Dodgers and are just spending all their money. This is the sport of the Yankees every single year doing this over and over and over. And it's just going to get more and more difficult. And you had Mike talking about, oh, well, we're a small market, Baltimore. It's going to be more difficult for us. I get it, dude. Totally get it. But you just got this new ownership. Sig, Mike, there's no fucking salary cap, guys. Like, we gotta get past this. Like, the Astro ball, it's over. It's not going to work. Like, the arms race is on, and you are losing badly, and it is reflected every single day.
Yeah, again, it's very apparent that, like, whatever plan they had in place, it's not working now. It may have worked, it worked your way to 101 wins, and then it worked your way to 91 wins. And it's like, that's all cute. But when it comes time to win, you have to do it. You have to trade these guys. And again, now people have looks at Kobe Mayo, and they have looks at Heston Kjerstad, and they're like, ooh, yeah, no, we're good. We're all right with them. 2 years ago, you probably could have traded for Garrett Crochet or Dylan Cease or Michael King or any of those guys, or Blake Snell. Yeah, I know he's hurt. Everyone's hurt. Every pitcher's hurt. I get it. But it's like, I don't know. You just gotta, you gotta do it. Cause like you said, the Moneyball thing is not working. Can you imagine if we get a movie made in like 15 years about the Baltimore theaters would riot. They would riot. This is, I think this is an insanely dumb comment. This has nothing to do with Rubenstein. We begged for years to have an owner that would not get his hands all muddy and dirty like John Angelos did, and the Angelos family going over Dan Duquette's head to sign Chris Davis. And now we have people being like, Rubenstein has to go do something. We begged for that to stop happening. Now we have a guy who was like, yeah, I have money, and like, let's spend. We don't want David to get involved in this.
I think the two key points there is that A, he is not spent, and B, it's just a tough look with the bobblehead. Like he could have saved himself a world of trouble by just nixing that in the crib like that. We just didn't need that.
Bobblehead wasn't his idea. That I have zero.
I know, but it's like he has to sign off. He could say, "Hey guys, I'm the owner. I'm not Arthur Blank inducting myself into the Ring of Honor over Julio Jones here. Can we just like rein it in a little bit?"
Zero to do with the product on the field. Zero to do. That's marketing. Talk to marketing. Blah blah blah. You know that's
we're getting more marketing updates and more scoreboard updates, and the Birdland membership is going to keep going up. Price of the brick going up, and we haven't spent a dime on any significant roster moves.
Again, but that's scoreboard money. That's from the state. Like people being like, "Oh, we can't sign Gunner, but we can get ribbon boards," and it's like completely different things, my man. That is two different things. So, it is kind of funny.
It is almost literally like English soccer, where it's like, hey, I can go out and get a striker that's going to score us 15 goals, or like I can build more stadium seating. And like, what are fans going to say? Let's go get the striker. It's like, well, I need to get the seating. Like, it's just the way that works. But yeah, just optically, it just hasn't been good. We could probably manage that a little bit better, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I mean, optically, they could do a lot of different stuff. But again, like right here, the spending was on the wrong players.
Yeah.
Again, I mean, I think we talked about it.
Payroll by a significant amount. It's gone to Craig Kimbrell and Charlie Morton and a couple of Jags.
Gary Sanchez and
and injured Tyler O'Neill. Like,
I forget who I was talking to. Somebody I forget, but they said this team spent money. Like Ramon Laureano, Gary Sanchez, Tyler O'Neill. They spent money to get better at hitting lefties, and they have significantly gotten worse. Like way worse. It's so much worse. And again, it's like you might as well have just eaten that money. Like if they sat on that money and just ran it back with people from last year, you would have been like, oh yeah, we just can't hit lefties. But like they actively spent money to get better, and they have gotten so much worse. So much worse. It's crazy. That's very hard to do.
Like that, and like all the lineup stuff, it goes into it. Just feels like we're overthinking this thing. Like, we can't afford these guys. We're going to go and moneyball it with Charlie Morton, and then we're going to sign these guys to hit righties. We're going to leave our talented young players out of the lineup to have these guys hit lefties. It's like, dude, it's just baseball. Like, just sign good players, let them play as often as possible. Like,
they throw the ball from another side. That's when like if you want to break it down, that's it. The ball sometimes comes from over here, and sometimes it's over That's it. That's it.
I mean, listen, I've never played. I know I'm just kind of lobbing pot shots and all that kind of stuff. And my opinion ultimately doesn't matter, but I'm just letting it out as a really frustrated fan right now. Like, this is just like I keep saying, it's just an unpleasant watch. And it feels like it was almost entirely avoidable. Like, they should not be 10 games below 500 right now at the very least.
No. And again, I mean, I've talked about it too, where it's like, it's almost like they got their years out of order. Like, they should have won 101 games last year and 91 2 years ago. Jumping from 83 or 82 or whatever it was to 101 and then 91. Like, they just got their years mixed up. But yeah, I mean, this is not, again, we should be, I told Dallas Braden this on their podcast. Their window should be wide fucking open. It should be a French door with the doors swung open. That should be the window. Right now, I said, you're in a room in the basement with no windows. There is no window right now. There's no window. It's not there.
Yeah, I think I've been reminded by that Ben Verlander promoting his own podcast about it every 2 hours. Yeah, that's good stuff, dude. Yeah,
could not use that guy quick enough. Holy shit. Anyways, but again, I'm seeing a lot of the analytical stuff in here too. So this is another thing. All right. So people, again, Taylor Hodges, the organization is too analytical.
Oh, by the way, he actually just texted me from his group chat a couple weeks ago. He said he told me, or he sent me a screenshot. I predict the Orioles are going to trade for Luis Castillo, but not the Luis Castillo you're thinking of. So he predicted it too. I wanted to shout that out.
Hat tip to Taylor. That's just sports though. Every I mean, again, we got Banks's guy Stern in the box, and every sport is like that now, and it sucks.
It's the entire world, dude. Nerds are ruining everything. Listen to a Bill Burr podcast for me one time.
A world of EBOs and Excel spreadsheets are ruining the world. I need
let's not get on our guy Ebo there.
No, we love Ebo. But again, so people being like, we need to fire Hyde and bring somebody else in. The next person who comes in, is going to be so much more analytical than Brandon Hyde. I will promise you that. That is a thing. And again, like people are, Hyde worked under Joe Madden. Like Madden was the king of switching lineups and doing all this stuff because people complain that like you can't win like that. He won under Madden and they did that. So, people I think they're straying too far. But the analytics thing, I hear you, and it sucks because again, sometimes like lefty pitcher, righty hitter isn't always the best matchup. That's just not it, even though the analytics and the computer and the Excel formula says it. Like sometimes baseball, I feel like is the ultimate eye test. Like, oh, this guy owns that guy, regardless of what it says and what number this guy hits this on Wednesdays when they're playing west of the Mississippi and the moon is a crescent or something like that. Like sometimes you just have to say, this guy's gonna really hit him. Like this guy can hit him. And it's just, you got to just dumb it down. But that's just sports and life nowadays. It sucks.
Yeah,
Everything
feels
sucks
like
about it.
Yeah, the soul is just being sucked out of it. It's like, hey, what do the numbers say that we have to do? It's like, well, sometimes you got to just go with your gut, man. And it's just like goes into the world is analytical now. We've got a silver rectangle in our pocket that gives us every number that we need, and we're always plugged into our jobs. And you're always online, and you're always moving about. You just feel way more stressed than you actually should feel. And it's just like everything is just a numbers game. How do we just suck all the money and all the efficiency out of every little thing that we do? And that's what this is, man. That's what it is. It's like they're trying to quote unquote protect their investments and get the most efficiency out of them as possible. Like Jeff Bezos at Amazon trying to make his workers feel terrified. That's his philosophy. I don't know. I'm getting a little off the rails with this stuff, but it's just like it feels soulless, and I feel like the soul has been deliberately sucked from this viewing experience for me. And
no, you're right. Again, it's a chore to watch these guys every night. And again, we should be right in the thick of like, oh my God, it's going to be such a great summer. Like the weather today was perfect. Like it should be the opposite of this. In here, I've talked with people about this one too. I kind of figured this would be a conversation, like especially last year. So obviously, people
for the audio listeners, we've got Jabo commenting, picking Adley over Bobby Witt is looking like a big whip. But continue.
So here's the thing, and here we go. Terp Don said it exactly. I don't, and maybe they do. The Padres have shown that you can draft a team full of high school shortstops and do whatever you want with it. But I don't know if they draft Gunnar / if Gunnar signs, if they draft Bobby 1-1. Again, Gunnar is a Boris guy. He's going to have Boris in his ear being like, you're the shortstop, buddy. You're the special one. We want you to be the shortstop. If they put Bobby Witt there, they may say, hey, man, we're going to Auburn. And then, so it's like, would you rather have Adley and Gunnar or just Bobby? I don't know. It's
honestly right now it's not like a close the book shut immediately conversation, and that's pretty damning.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, that's a conversation for another day, maybe a happy hour that we'll have to have. But yeah, I mean, it goes back. Adley again. Has somebody mentioned it above? Like, who even would want to resign some of these guys? And that's another thing. I mean, the whole 2 weeks in was like, oh, you got to resign Cedric Mullins now. He's doing this, and now he's back to being ice cold. I tweeted out those numbers earlier. The only guys with respectable numbers over the last 2 weeks were O'Hearn, Gunnar, and Jackson. Everybody else, Adley, Mountie, Heston, Laureano, Mullins. Trying to think who else. They're all legitimately 200 or under, and that's just it's awful. And in baseball, you're going to deal with your ebbs and flows and guys being hot and guys being cold, but again, we're going on. I think it was Heyman who was on Glenn's show today, and he was like, yeah, you should be concerned about Adley. It's been a year now of this. So, he had the hurt thing last year. That's gone this year, obviously. I thought he came in great shape, and, he put on a show on opening day, but
he's looked good in stretches. I mean, I don't think it's as bad as the second half of last year, but it's starting to, the way it's been the last couple of weeks, it's starting to look bad again. So,
yeah. And I don't, and again, it's just, I thought that these guys would develop and take the next step forward. And it sucks because again, Calzer is ungraded. Westberg is ungraded. Jackson, I think you could say is obviously head and shoulders above where he was this day last year. Gunnar is Gunnar. I think Gunnar will have his streaks and all that. But again, a guy like Adley, we're still waiting on him to take that next step. And the All-Star game was nice, and the home run derby 2 years ago was great, but it's just like he hasn't taken that next step to being that, the like top an 80 grade hitter or, whatever we thought he would be. It's just, maybe this might be who he is, and it sucks to say. I mean, obviously no one has been beating the drum for Adley more than me, in this town, but I don't know. It's tough to watch him. It's tough to watch all these guys right now. And there's no way that I know that here's what they do to break out. There's no break in case of emergency. Obviously they're getting healthier with Eflin coming back, and Kittredge, will be back soon. But again, that doesn't help the bats. And I know O'Neill, it was 1 for 3 with a single last night and then got taken off the field because he got removed from the game in Norfolk due to a wet field. And it's like that. That's such a baseball thing, like a wet field. I don't know. Hopefully Westberg's back soon, but even if they are, what are they going to be 10 games back by then? And just, I don't know. I don't know. It sucks. This should not be what they do. And again, hopefully this kind of makes Mike and Sig kind of throw their, not that I think it will, but maybe that it forces them to do stuff and, sign guys next year and make trades, make moves, do something to kind of bolster this team, because this is not the team that we thought it was. They're just not.
If they're not ready to, then good luck. I mean, I'll still tune in early next year, but if it starts to go south again like this, I'll see you. I won't even watch a game. Like, it's just not, like, what did we say a couple months ago? You built the foundation, you got to go and build the house. And they've just cheaped out on the building materials, and they just brought in a shitty contractor who's just not getting it done. And
they hired the Bluths. The Bluth, that's what it is. They put it in the house, and
they're just keeping that money in the banana stand, because not even touching it. Yeah,
and the grandpa's upstairs in the attic, cross dressing, and everyone's going crazy. No touching, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
yeah. The brother comes in and then makes out with the grandma. The grandpa's brother.
Sig might be in never mood.
Oscar, I think his name was. I don't know. But yeah, it just, again, this stinks because you look around the like, I'm watching Bobby Witt slap a single and then he's stealing a base. And you're watching all these other guys develop and turn into the players that we were told they would be. And the Orioles are just puttering along, just hoarding, not hoarding prospects. I don't think that's true. And
not anymore.
No. But I think I muted the word Stowers on Twitter. If I see one more thing about Kyle Stowers, like, give me I love the guy. He's great, but like, that was never going to happen here. And again, go look at Joey Ortiz's numbers. Connor Norby stinks. Go look at that guy's numbers right now in Miami. So Stowers is great. Good for him. Had a great yak.
Well, what do we keep saying?
This sucks.
You gotta
kill me.
You can spend the money. You can make the moves. They got to be the right ones.
Yeah.
So you get Trevor Rogers for those two guys. Good stuff.
Well, and again, people are like, we should have gotten more. That may have been all that they were offered. We don't know. We'll never know. And again, part of me thinks people forget the Marlins traded 10 guys away last year at the deadline. They got Connor Norby and immediately sent him down to AAA. Immediately. They traded 10 guys. And even they were like, no, he's not ready yet. So I don't know if we were overvaluing prospects. That's never happened before. But
Norby was on a little bit of a run right before they traded him, so that was like peak time to move him. But
but again, there may not have been another trade out there. We'll never know that. We'll just never know. Here we go.
Well, here's the problem: like the Orioles are a small market team, so they just can't do these things.
Yeah, I don't know. You got to figure it out though. Not like they won. They had winning seasons before, and they've gone deep into the playoffs. But Josh Richter says, "What's the solution?"
It's not up to us to figure it out. That's up to our guy Mike.
I got nothing. I'm running my MLB The Show franchise. I'm doing a damn good job there, but I don't have the solution here. I think a lot. Again, people will. I mean, everybody wants to blame front office managers, hitting coaches, this, that, and the other. But at the end of the day, the play on the field, this comes down to the players. Like, they have to go out and do their job. They can't just hang their head after a strikeout or another ground into double play or something like that. You gotta produce. I don't know.
You're right about that. They wouldn't. I don't think they'd be leading the division if they were playing up to even close to their potential, but they would not be this bad. Like I think it being this bad reflects poorly on them. In retrospect, it's pretty obvious this is a puzzlingly constructed roster. And then you add in the injuries, so like that. I don't think even if they were playing up to like 85% capacity, they'd be like ahead of the Yankees right now. But these guys currently constructed, they have the talent to be better than this by a several game margin. Like,
yeah, absolutely. And again, not saying that they would be neck and neck with the Yankees, but I think it would be. And again, I mean, today was different. Yesterday was a little different. But like these games that they're losing, they're not losing like 3-2 or 5-4. They're losing by. I mean, again, their run differential is minus 69 right now. Like they're getting killed every time they lose, and it's like they're much better than this. It just seems like when it has gone south, it's gone south very, very quick. I'm just kind of looking through my Twitter likes and all that here. Like again, John Heyman was on Glenn Clark. John Heyman on firing Brandon Hyde. I don't think that's the right thing right now, but it is the thing that is generally done when a team underperforms. He's been good. He needs a little more time. Let's be fair. The injuries are the biggest thing that's impacted this pitching staff. I think that's spot on. Again, on having Mike Elias on his they had Elias on his podcast.
I also think Spenny is kind of spot on when he talks about baseball managers are just like not that important relative to other managerial positions in pro sports. Like it's just not going to change much. But also, like if that's the case, and like these guys are just trotting out there with this glum look on their face every night, and like that part of it, maybe it's like, all right, like if you're not even really doing that much, maybe a little bit of fresh blood, maybe not even in season, but like he's definitely on the hot seat for the end of the season right now, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, it's not going to be some like people are like, you got to get Buck Britton. I don't know if Buck Britton is what people think he is. Like he won a championship in AAA with a team that we could have won a championship with. Again, it's not. I'm not like 100% sold on like you got to get Buck Britton up here. He's going to be the savior. I don't think he is. And again, he's not even close to ready. If you think Hyde is going to make some boneheaded moves, I think that's that's another thing. But what was I saying before? I had something and I forgot.
Yeah, if they're going to make that move, we said this a while ago now. Like if they're going to make that move, it needs to be for a serious option. Like it's a guy who's been there and done that.
Again, Robinson Chirino, who spent 35 games in the dugout next to Hyde. It's not going to be him. I think the interim manager, if they fired him, would be Tony Mansolino, the third base coach, and he's not making anyone run through a wall. Giving a rah speech. You got to get better.
Making them run through third base at the wrong time and then stop at the wrong time.
They haven't had many of those. Well, they don't have many guys on base, but yeah, he's had some of those.
And some head scratchers.
Trying to think, there was something else. Again, Heyman on Glenn's show basically was like, "There's no way Elias gets fired." I'm right there with you. People are crazy. I think if they want Elias fired, I think that is an overreaction to the highest degree. And you can be mad and furious and all you want. And he made this moves last year and blah blah blah. That you don't fire a guy. I don't. Not right now. Not right now.
I'm not there yet. But dude, like,
if it's 2 or 3 more years of this, and they refuse to to sign guys, then absolutely.
If we're not in, February of 2026, and he is not sufficiently just sacked up and gone and got some names, signed to the paper for free agents, for extensions, like this shit cannot go on. Because like it's not inspiring for fans. And you know what? I feel like part of this mentality, I'm going to throw it out there, like him speaking with his actions, he has not shown a lot of faith in this group of players. I'm just going to say that. Like and going back to 2022, when he moves on from Trey and he makes those comments, then he has to fly out to Houston and tell them, oh, wait, guys, I actually do believe in you. Sorry, I said that. And then tacitly not showing that either, not re-signing any of these guys, not going out and getting big names. Like it just doesn't it doesn't reflect a lot of faith in this group of players, and that can't be good on these young guys. I'm going to say that. I mean,
no, absolutely. And again, you said it, like it shows that he doesn't really trust the young guys. Like at your work, if somebody on on a team is underperforming, what do? Hey guys, we're looking for help. We want to bring someone in who can do the job and get it done. And it's like, hey, if the guys you don't have aren't getting a job done, that's perfectly fine. So nothing is guaranteed in sports. Things don't work out. Go out and get the guy. Go overpay. Go trade. What is Dylan Beavers going to do to help this team this year, next year, 2 years, 4 years? Who cares? Go bring the guys in. I'm 100% with you. And again, make the moves to go put that over the top. And it's awesome to have a plan and to say, I did this in Houston and it worked this way. And here's what we did and it worked. That's great.
You know what else they did in Houston? They go and get a Verlander and they go and get some.
You were gonna.
Oh yeah. You were gonna. Honestly, that might be a good route to
bring back the trash cans. If this team got popped right now for cheating, I would be over the moon happy. Yeah. I would be thrilled with that. That would be incredible. But yeah, if it's not working, that's fine. But and again, I've heard this about the front office and Mike, and it's like they have a way that they want to do it. And that's how they want to win. And it's like, that's fine. I respect that. I fully get it. But there comes a time when you get to a crossroad and you're like, ooh, it's getting a little warm in here. It's not working. So what do? Let's pivot. We haven't given out the big free agency contract. We haven't done this. And again, maybe Max Fried doesn't work out long-term for the Yankees. But if they win a World Series next year, no one's going to give a shit. People are going to say, oh man, it goes, and this is kind of weird. This is baseball because it goes back to the Nelson Cruz thing. Like the Orioles wanted to give him 3 years, he wanted 4, and the Orioles were worried that fourth year was going to be really bad. Yeah, but guess what? If those first 3 are awesome, and you win a World Series or you make another ALCS, no one is going to in year 4. No one's going to be like, oh, I can't believe we have old man Nelly.
And there's no fucking salary cap. And I know you're spending David Rubenstein's money personally, and that might be a little uncomfortable. The guy has more money than God, and he is about to turn 75 years old. And it just like, I'm not going to pocket watch for these guys. And I don't think Rubenstein even really has that mentality. Like, and maybe it's just a fact of like a new owner coming in. It's a longer process than sometimes we can give it credit for. You have seen what Cohen has done, and he kind of came, like I said, he came right in there, just big swing in D and started making moves. And obviously you get Soto this past off season. And I don't know, like that was certainly a quicker turnaround, but I don't know, maybe it's just going to take a little bit longer. Rubenstein needs to kind of put his foot down and say, hey, yo, blank check. Like you got it. Like, let's go and do this thing. Let's stop worrying about, let's stop micromanaging things. Let's stop stepping on dollars to pick up dimes. Let's stop, trying to moneyball this shit because it's just not working, and it's not going to work in this modern baseball landscape.
No. And again, maybe you have to eat a couple shekels on a pitcher down the line who gets hurt or who just kind of breaks down, like a Patrick Corbin, not saying him, but like how he did, or Strasburg with the Nats. But guess what? Those Nats won a World Series, and again, they have it. They did it. They did this.
They were a perpetual punching, just a punchline when I was growing up. And like, I was proud to be an Orioles fan, even though they sucked when I was growing up because they had 3 rings. Now my Nats fan friends, they've got a ring and they're going to have that forever. And I've still yet to see my team get one. So,
and none of them are kicking it. They're not hanging their head doing the Michael Bluth or George Michael Bluth walk, being like, I can't believe that we paid Strasburg all that money. I can't believe that we paid Patrick Corbin all that money, because they have a goddamn World Series ring. It doesn't matter. And like I said, winning your way is fine. Just winning in general is even better though. It's losing your way, losing while, all right, I'm trying to walk myself through this. Losing while trying to do it your way, but going down your way that's not the way to go. You have to be able to adapt and switch things up. And if one thing is not working, pivot and do something else that will work. And
it's not just this season. It's not just the high expectations upon the season. It's the fact that you haven't won one playoff game. You've been there twice. You've gotten swept both times. If they had won one of those series or made an even further run, I mean, God forbid, like, the pressure would be probably a little bit less right now, maybe even significantly less, but you've got nothing to show for any of this. I understand like the regular season, especially in 23, was a lot of fun last year, fun for the first half, but it's just been, you've just got nothing to show for it, like, straight up.
23 is another perfect example. That's a year where it may have gotten murky because that's when the selling and all that stuff and when you're selling, you have to freeze all assets and you don't spend and you can't do anything, and it makes it tough. But that's a year where at midseason, I really, really wish that they would have said, hey guys, look, we really have something special here and we can make this run. Let's fucking go all in. Let's go do the Justin Verlander trade. Let's go get one of these guys and push ourselves so far over the what we're looking to do. Let's go do it. Like go balls in. You've said it countless times. There's no salary cap. You can do that stuff. You don't have to try and finagle to get this guy in, but you may have to cut this guy. You can do it. And 23, I think that year they won 101 games that may be the year that it's like, oh shit, we really missed something here. Just the good vibes were going. Everyone was playing up to their potential, and they really had a chance to do something, and they didn't. Even last year, we could do something. Go out and trade guys. It's the holding on to these guys for controllable years, and your Enrique Bradfields and Dylan Beavers and Vance Honeycutt. Sure, okay, that's fine, but no one's going to give a shit in 5 years if they're starting and the Orioles have nothing to show for it, while Gunner's catching ground balls in Atlanta and Adley's backing up Cal Raleigh or something like that as a catcher for the Mariners. So
yeah, no, and it's like the argument about small market guys wouldn't want to live here. It's like, well, yeah, that was true with Burns. He wanted to go to Arizona, but it's like, dude, these guys live elsewhere in the offseason anyway. They're on the road for half the season. It's a traveling circus, going to hotels, eating steaks every night, having a good time. Like, it's not like the area is some big deterrent either. So I'm getting sick of hearing that kind of stuff too. Like,
yeah, I think that's thrown out. It's not 1970. Like, you're not going to bump into Brooks at the grocery store in the off season anymore. Like, that's just not how guys are. They're gonna go home the day the season's over. That's perfectly fine. Hell, remember Adam got shit for saying, somebody asked him what his favorite part of Baltimore was, and he said the airport.
Yeah,
like that. That's a great quote. That's a hilarious quote by Adam.
It's good. Listen, BWI underrated.
Nice airport. It's a good airport. It's a solid one, but. Tough one. And to cap it all off, we got some late night West Coast baseball. So
yeah, no, I'm really pumped to turn on my television at 10 o'clock at night after a full day of work, sit down and watch this team just putter and billow and just bird box their way through 9 innings going into like 3 a.m. Yeah, it's gonna be amazing.
0 point. Bird boxing is a great. That's just going up there just.
Is that what it is? Yeah, like
swing and see. 9:40 start, I think, tonight or tomorrow. Sorry. So.
Well, at least it's a Friday.
Yeah. And then I don't know what it is on Saturday, but everyone knows those are for the boys. So.
Yeah, people don't talk about that anymore like they should. You got to bring that back. That'll bring the good vibes back.
Nothing gets people going like a 36-year-old yelling Saturdays are for the boys.
Yeah, I'm gonna get Adley a bunch of Rowdy Gentleman T-shirts, and Gunner's gonna be wearing a Reagan Bush 80. Well, maybe not Gunner. We'll get Westberg in a Reagan Bush 84, and yeah, that'll get the vibes back.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. I team meeting, sacrifice a chicken, a goat, a human, a small person. Figure something out, but the only thing I guess we can really hope for this year is just they play a little bit better, and we're not looking at like a 40. At least they're not the Pirates, they're not the Rockies, and they're not the White Sox. That's kind of all we have going.
Were the Pirates in the news recently?
No, not much. Not much has happened.
Nothing happened there.
They've had. I sent this to my cousin. My cousins are all Pittsburgh fans. By the way, I've been meaning to say this tweet. Jay Hay said from Baseball is Dead had a tweet, and he was like, I would have loved to hear the conversation when the Orioles called Charlie Morton and said that they wanted to give him $15 million.
Oh, really?
Like, me? Are you sure?
It's the
so it said it is May 8th. They have had abandoned ship, sell the team, billboards. They misspelled Andrew McCutcheon's name at their fan fest. There was a plane flying above the stadium during the game that said sell the team. They replaced Roberto Clemente's logo on the wall with a Surfside ad.
Good stuff. Love
they
that.
had like a walkway in the stadium made of bricks where like you could buy one for like little Jakey Poo. Congrats on graduating 4th grade from grandma. and they renovated the stadium. They dug all the bricks up, and somebody found them in a dumpster at like a trash plant. Like there were literal bricks being like, people were like, that was my dad's last like present to me, was a brick that he bought me for graduating, and they found it in a dumpster outside of a recycling plant. They had that fan fall. They had an usher fight their fan. And then, they fired Derek Shelton today. You want to hear this fun fact about Derek Shelton? This is just turning into a full-on Pittsburgh shitting. Where is it? With yesterday's loss, damn it, where did it go? Yesterday's loss, Derek Shelton was 214th out of 216 managers all time in Major League Baseball history with at least 700 games managed. He had a .410 winning percentage, 214 out of 216. That is awesome.
Hey, you know what that sounds like to me? That sounds like a selling team. Maybe move some assets. They got a young pitcher. I think the Orioles might, be interested in. Guy throws gas. Great marketing potential that the Orioles could leverage. Yeah, no, they could get Livy in there, get all sorts of influencer deals, get that money pumping in even more, to do God knows what with. But
there are already people being like, I feel so bad for Paul Skeens. He has to deal with this. And it's like, he hasn't been up for a year. He'll be okay. Like, again, just like Charlie Morton, I am not shedding a single tear for Paul Skeens.
Something tells me things are going to work out in the long term for that guy.
Yeah, you mean the 6'8" pitcher who wanted to be a fighter pilot and throws 103 miles an hour with a super hot famous girlfriend? Like, oh, we're going to feel bad about that? No, I'm okay. Like, if he has to be on a bad team for a couple of years, he'll live. He'll live, all right.
He was too tall to be a fighter pilot, right?
Yeah. He couldn't.
Same thing with Billick. Yeah, same thing with Billick. He was like, I was crestfallen when they were like, dude, you're 6'5". This just isn't going to happen.
Dude, Brian Billick wanted to be a fighter pilot. No, fuck him. He could. No.
Yeah, no, he could. And because screaming like a banshee quote.
Yeah, look at me. I read off my scripture and turn the cameras. Are those cameras off? That's why he never got another job. Still one of the weirder things that he never got another job.
Rings last forever. That's what we say.
They do, but whatever. Fucking dork. He is a dork. Harbaugh's a dork too. I told Gabby that. DePaula. I was like, Harbaugh's a dork.
Billick's not a dork. Harbaugh is, but
she said she didn't think Harbaugh was a dork. I said that whole family is full of dorks. Yeah, it's not a bad thing. They're just dorks.
He's a 60-year-old white man. Like, he's a dork. I don't know. From the Midwest. Yeah.
But anyways, we've covered it all.
Really. This is what you get here. Anybody new tuning into this, it's just a lot of Orioles misery and then just getting off the rails and then back on. But
we always get it back on.
Well, at least Cam Ward coming up. I got an exciting draft class that I can break down. Everything's very exciting. New kicker in town.
Why? What happened?
Oh yeah, listen, whole big thing. Had a funeral for a bird. Good times.
Great. Yeah, I was gonna say what a great time to be a Baltimore sports. Remember, like last year we were doing podcasts. We were like, what a fucking great time it is to be a Baltimore sports fan. Kevin Willard, dude. Obi's gonna break the record. Oh my god.
It all started with that one weekend where they were Ravens going into Pittsburgh, Orioles playoff, or it might not have even been the playoffs. It might have been.
It was. And then Maryland was playing Ohio State. Maryland went up 7.
Yeah, like just a clean sweep of just misery, and I feel like it's just been downhill since then.
I don't think I've had one good day since that day. I'll have to go back and look. I don't think I've had one.
Nothing to smile about in your life.
Yeah, nothing. Yeah, nothing to smile about. That meme. I mean, what's funny is I have all these drafts saved of like the videos of like guys getting kicked in the face and like the one dude in the Johnny Manziel or whatever jersey doing a backflip off the table and landing on his neck.
As soon as
somebody blocked me over that, they were like, I don't appreciate this kind of content, and they blocked me.
I think BCG put that out there. I saw like literally the first 3 seconds. I was like, nope, I'm gone. Like I just scrolled up, and then you're making it a habit to like tweet it out there. So I'm trying to avoid it too. But
I get to go into my like 2021 drafts of like, can't wait to watch another Orioles game, and it's like that
well, I saw the
explosion one
what you had yesterday where it was like thinking about the O's. You were like, holy shit.
I scheduled that tweet maybe 6 months ago, being like, oh, this tweet's gonna bang, like they're gonna be like winners of like 12 out of 13, and like we're going to be 5 up in the division and Adley's going to have 40 home runs by now. Like, yeah, that was a mistake because I was like, why am I getting all these notifications? And then I see the tweet and I was like, ah, shit, I think I scheduled that one out.
That right there, that is you stepping into the shoes of one Taylor Smythe and just like understanding what that job was like for however long he had it.
Yeah.
Scheduled tweets and dealing with, you know, the PR fallout. It's tough.
Yeah. Not for everyone. Not for everyone.
Well, speaking of not for everyone, the Baltimore Orioles fall to 13-23. They are 10 games below 500 as we turn into the second week of May, something we all expected. Didn't have this one on my bingo card for this season, I'll tell you that.
Zing.
Yeah, we appreciate everyone hanging here with us live, watching video on demand, listening on the podcast feeds. You guys are real ones if you're tuning into this content throughout this just miserable, just long walk of a season into the pits of death here. So we appreciate y'all. If you like what you heard, go ahead and subscribe to us here on YouTube or wherever you're listening. Give us a like on the video, comment on it, you know, give us a 5-star rating if you're on the podcast platforms. Follow us on social media at Exit52 Podcast on X and on Instagram. I am at Jake Louque. That's Louque. Eric is at EDITTI22. Ryan at Barstool Banks, Taylor at Taylor Smythe 10, Spenny at Ravens 4 Dummies. That is the number 4. Shout out to our great presenting sponsors and Jimmy's Famous Seafood. We'll be back at you guys again soon. Hopefully it'll be fun. If it's not, I'm sure it'll be cathartic once again. And in the meantime, we'll just be like Sisyphus, just rolling that boulder up the hill and up and up and up. Well, maybe it'll crush us along the way. Who knows?
God, that would be so sick if we got crushed by a boulder. I would love that. Yeah. That's it. I was gonna tweet that to like the RPG going into the dummy's stomach, and I was just gonna be like, I would pay so much money to have this happen to me right now.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, with that, we'll get on out of here. Thanks again for listening, and we'll talk to you guys again very soon.
See ya.